Welcome, guys. So tonight we're going to have Pat talk to us. Patrick Riehlman is been in the business for a long time. I don't know if you told me that he'll tell you his story. He was in the business before he actually started working the business. But he's super awesome. He's in the Million Club member, or the Million Club. He's a member of the Million Club, and he has 50 plus downlines, or why can I not talk? Diamonds in his downline. So that in itself, you're like, I just want to be diamond, let alone have 50 in my downline. It's pretty cool to hear. So he's definitely going to be a wealth of knowledge. So let me just pull up what's happening so far in November with you guys rocking this launch. So I can't move anything. I'm sorry. I had everything in a PowerPoint, but I'm like, my computer's being so slow, I'm scared to open something else. So far, we don't have anybody at 10, but I do think Success Club points are being a little slow, so we may. So Heather has 6, says I have 6, Rachel's on the board with 4, Marcy had 2, Melissa had 2, Jordan had 2. So good job, guys. The top recruiter was Melissa. She had 2 coaches this past week, so way to go. And Rachie woke up a 1-star diamond, and her team Faithfully Fit officially hit 1-star diamond. Yay! So before we hop off the call, I am going to, when I don't have my computer screen shared, I'm going to take a kind of like a boomerang where we're all kind of like celebrating her so she can use that on her stories. So then I've got some announcements coming up. And so the 3-day refresh is back in stock. Woohoo! So it's a perfect thing to talk to people about after the holidays. At this point, most every single person that purchases, they may dabble here and there, but most of their mindset, we can try to get them to start earlier, but most of their mindset, they're probably not going to go all in until January. So this is a perfect way to basically just kind of talk about, hey, I know you get super excited when you, see results really quickly. So this would be great, kind of a detox right after Christmas and New Year's and all the feasting and all that stuff. So make sure, and right now the promos are over. So it's $160 with Shakeology. It's not $140 anymore. Transform 20 is now on sale if you've been living under a rock, and it's Super Weekend on January 12th. So find a Super Saturday near you. If you're a new coach and don't know how to do that, go to the Coach Online office and then click events, go to events and you'll find it there. So make sure that you look for that. And if you don't have one near you, I would say, honestly, if you can drive there, if you've got a 2-hour drive, it's worth it for you to be there. So find one near you. If you absolutely don't, let me know. I can see if I can find something virtual or something for you, but you need to be there in person. They do live workouts. Sometimes Carl will travel. Sean T is going to probably be somewhere, I'm sure. Autumn will be there. The celebrity trainers will be there. So it's really cool. So keep that in mind. And then the last thing that, I just closed out of it. Maybe I'll do it after. I want to be able to make sure that Pat's able to get everything he needs in. But if you guys didn't see, the total for November was up. Let me try one more time if I can just get it really quickly. I'm sorry. I had all of this together and it's driving me insane. Today I slept in instead of getting my normal 4 a.m. and it's kicking my butt. And this is the reminder I need for that miracle morning. So I'm just going to, not worry about it because my computer's being slow. So Pat, back to you. We're so excited to hear you talk about all the good things with volume, everything that you feel that have helped you understand it, because we've been, focusing on, teaching more and more, but it's definitely not something my strong point. So we've been really trying to dig in and focus on that instead of rank. So just a little backstory about us. We were mostly focused on rank for a really long time. And I love, love, love focusing on volume, income, because all the good things will come from there. So, and I forgot to mention Carolyn's Sweat Your Heart Out team is on here too. So, hey guys, and go ahead and take it away, Pat.
Awesome. I just had one of these green smoothies. I might have some stuff in my teeth still. But yeah, thanks for having me on here. So yeah, something I'd like to talk about is how to maximize the comp plan. Because I think corporate sometimes, like the way they structure everything is what makes them the most amount of money. And sometimes what makes the individual coach the most amount of money is different than what helps the corporation makes the most amount of money. So I like to teach my coaches for them to make the most amount of money, not to just follow Beachbody's stuff, which makes the company make all the money. So the first thing I'll talk about is kind of the big picture, which is what I always talk about. Cause I got lucky enough that when I started this thing, I had some people in the same city as me in Boston that were teaching how to build this business a little bit different than how it's taught now a lot of times. So basically what they told me was that if I wanted to create a 6-figure income, a full-time income, that it was going to come down to one thing: finding 5 really good leaders. And what I realized now is that it really, a lot of times, it doesn't even have to be 5 really great leaders. If you can find 1 or 2 great leaders on each leg, then you're gonna have a team that's gonna be helping so many more people than you ever could on your own. And their income, there's a direct correlation there too. You're gonna create that full-time 6-figure income if that's what you're shooting for. So I always had that in my mind. It was never like this thing that that I got caught up in rank or elite or too much. I don't even think Success Club existed at the time. It was just, I had one thing to focus on, was finding those 1 or 2 good leaders on each leg. And I just knew, like, the only reason I'm not going to find that is if I quit. Like, it's just inevitable that if I just keep inviting people to a good idea long enough, it's going to find good people. And it's just inevitable that I'm going to find like 1 or 2 good leaders on each leg. And the thing about that is, like, they don't even have to be personally sponsored. Like, your rank, to help your rank, yeah, they have to be personally sponsored, but to help your income, they don't have to be personally sponsored. They just have to be anybody that's a great coach that turns into a leader that wants to build their own team in your downline. PS or not PS. So that was something that I knew. And I was terrible. I was like a horrible coach, like, for 4 years. Like, I didn't have any success with this business, but I always knew I would. Isn't that weird? Like, why do I do that? Why did I do that? Like, I knew that I was never going to give up. Like, I knew I was never going to, like, stop inviting. And I knew I was never going to eventually, like, it was inevitable I'd find, like, a few good people on each leg that were going to kill this thing. I needed to go all in. I needed to, like, commit to it and do it every day. And that was the biggest mistake I made, was when my first few years of doing this, I would do it when I felt like it, like when it was convenient. Like, when I felt like doing invites and follow-ups, on those days I would do invites and follow-ups. When I felt like I had time, on those days I would do invites and follow-ups. If I didn't feel like doing it, or if I didn't feel like I had time, I wouldn't do it. So I knew in my heart in my gut that I would be successful, but I wasn't having success because I wasn't showing up every day. Meanwhile, I'm seeing all these coaches sign up after me. They're not doing anything different than I am. They're just doing it every day, whether they felt like it or not, staying consistent, allowing people to watch you. Like, that's the catch. Everyone, when people come to me and they say, how do you create a 6-figure income? Like, how do I really do this, Pat? Like, I got a lot of guys that are like, I don't want your fluff. I don't want your story. Like, how does this work? And I'm like, it's easy. Find 2 or 3 great leaders, period. And then they're like, okay, like, but what's the catch? And I'm like, yeah, there is a catch. The catch is, you're not going to find 1 or 2 good leaders until you become a leader. You're not going to find 1 or 2 good leaders until you stay super consistent with this business for an entire year. Because they're going to have to watch you stay consistent with this for an entire year before they actually believe in it. Like, if you want to prove to people that you're serious about this and that this is a real opportunity, you got to stay consistent for an entire year. Every coach has 2 start dates in this business: the day they sign up and the day that they decide that they're never going to stop. So hopefully today is that second start date for you, if you haven't had that second start date yet. December 6th, 2018, write it down. This is your second start date. That's the catch. The secret to it is simple. Find 2 or 3 great leaders. The catch is, you have to become a leader by becoming super freaking consistent. This has to become your lifestyle. Like, how many of you guys feel better when you're working out, eating right, reading personal development, surrounding yourself with other people that are positive growth mindset people? How many feel better when you're doing those things consistently? Right? Like, and how many of you just like, that's just who you want to be? Like, you want to be that version of yourself that you know is the true version of yourself when you're fueling yourself with the right things, right? So why not just do those things every day, regardless of whether or not you're building a business? And what happens is, if that becomes your lifestyle, then you're not just doing this as like a thing that people look at you and go, oh, they're just trying to sell something. They look at you and they go, whoa, like he's really living this thing. Like, they really believe in this lifestyle. Like, it's helping them. They're sharing something that they believe in because it works. And they've been doing it for not just like a month here and a month here and a weekend there and a week there. Like, they've been doing it every single day for a year. That's when you get people to join you. That's when your coaches start to really see what this thing really is and start to grow into those leaders. Like, those 2 or 3 great leaders that you want on your team, they're probably already watching you. They might already even be on your team. They just haven't been able to watch you stay consistent long enough for them to believe that this is a real thing for them. That's the catch. How many of you guys are visual learners? So this business is a lot like running up an escalator that's going down. You guys ever try to run up an escalator that was going down? This is like the thing I talk a lot about. We call it the escalator mindset, #escalator mindset. This is everything. This is like, write this down, like #escalator mindset, because this is the catch, but this is the goal too. So if you try to run up an escalator that's going down against it, what happens is you're excited at first, right? You're like, this is going to be fun. Like, I'm going to do this. I'm going to build this business. Like, I'm going to kill this thing. Let's go. And you start running, right? You start running, you start inviting, you start talking to people. You're running up this escalator. And then you start to realize, like, a month in, 2 months in, like what most coaches start to realize is like, like, people aren't saying yes as fast as I want, right? Because they have to watch you. They have to believe in you. They have to trust you. And it takes longer. It takes a little bit more, like 6 months. Sometimes it takes people 12 months of watching you. Sometimes 2 years or 5 years, right? So you're excited. You're running up this escalator. All of a sudden, people aren't saying yes as fast as they want because they need to watch longer. But what do? You take a break because you get discouraged or tired. The life gets in the way. And what happens when you're on an escalator that's going down and you stop? You go down. You go backwards. You go all the way to the bottom. You start all the way where you began. Because all those people that saw you stop, they're like, man, like, she's not even doing this anymore. He's not even doing this anymore. Like, why would I do this? And what's even worse is maybe you even have some coaches that are like, maybe even just discount coaches that see you stop. And they're like, well, she's not even posting it about it anymore. I don't see her doing the workouts anymore. I don't see her doing invites and follow-ups anymore. Like, why would I? And you just lost all that momentum that you started to build. And this is what I did to myself for 4 years. For 4 years in this business, I would get excited because I'd get on a call like this, or I'd go to an event or summit or something, and I'd be like, all right, I'm getting back on this escalator. I'm fired up. Let's go. And I'd start running, and then all of a sudden, like, I'd be like, like, I got this thing over here I got to do. I got my job. I got people, this person's not ready yet. Like, and then I'd stop, and I'd go back down to the bottom. Meanwhile, all these other people, all these other coaches I'd see start after me, get on the escalator after I had, but not take a break, stay super consistent for a year, gain trust, gain credibility, find their leaders, and then build these incredible businesses and incredible incomes. And I'm sitting here going up and down the escalator. I'm like, what am I doing? This is ridiculous. So I finally said, I'm getting back on this escalator and I'm not getting off. Like, I don't care who comes with me. Like, I don't care if my family comes with me. Like, I don't care if my friends come with me. Like, I'm not getting off this thing, because when I do these things every day, I feel like the best version of myself. And I know in my gut, it's inevitable. I'm going to find 2 or 3 great leaders if I just stay consistent and stay on this escalator long enough. Like, I know it. It's just done. So I got back on the escalator with that mindset, that second start date. And I was like, I'm never getting off this thing, period. And I got back on, and that's when people started noticing, like, dude, like, he's not trying to just do this thing here and there. He's not desperate for me. Like, new coaches, if you're desperate for people to join you, like, they can smell that, and they're like, it smells like dead fish. Like people don't want people that are desperate for them. They want people that are doing this, and they're going to realize, just like my people that were watching me, like they realized, including my family, they realized that they could either come with me on this escalator ride, or they're going to get left behind and they're going to watch me be successful. But I'm not stopping whether they come with me or not. And that's when they were like, all right, he's not desperate for us, but if we don't do this, we're going to get left behind. So I got back on the escalator that last time. And that's when it was like, that's when everything changed. My mindset changed. I knew I was never going to give up. I wasn't desperate for people. I was like, yo, I'm doing this. If you want to do it with me, cool. If you don't, cool, but I'm doing this. That's when they started to take notice. They watched. And when people were telling me no and no one was saying it and no one was doing it, guess what I did? I didn't stop. I kept showing up every day to my own stuff, my invites, my follow-ups, my own workouts, my own nutrition, my own personal development, sharing those things every day. I didn't care if people were saying no. I didn't care who was saying yes. I just did it for me. And I knew that eventually I'd find those one or two great leaders. That's what happened. That's what and now I'm always asking myself, like, how come some coaches have this escalator mindset and they stay on this thing for that consistent 12 months, that consistent 24 months, and then their business explodes? Like there's coaches on my team that they didn't have a ton of success like that first consistent year, but that second year is when their business exploded. That second year is when some of their coaches developed into leaders. Some coaches, they stayed really consistent for 24 months, and it was the third year that their leaders started popping like crazy and they started killing it. So yeah, during those 2 years, like they might not have looked like they were having a ton of success, but they were planting the seeds, that the foundation that ended up creating that income. And at the same time, they were growing personally. Their mindset changed completely. Their everything in their life changed completely. So there's kind of two things that I noticed, that if a coach stays on the escalator for a year, you're going to be successful. You're going to eventually find it's inevitable. You're going to find those couple good leaders that eventually get on board with you on this thing. But the question is, like, why do some stay on it and some don't? And what I found is it's two things. One is your why. Like, if you don't have a strong why are you going to stay on the escalator? Like, why are you going to stay on the escalator that's going to be trying to go backwards if you take a break? Like, that's not fun to do a lot of times. Like, and being patient isn't fun, right? Like, the things we do every day are easy to do, but they're easier not to do. So why are we going to do those things? You got to have something that's not just like, when I ask my coaches, why do you do this? Why did you start a business? And they say they want to help people. I say, that's great. Like, you have to have a love for helping people, but you don't need a business to help people. So why did you start a business? Like, there has to be something that like burning in you that's personal to you and your future and your family's future. Not just you want to help people, because there's going to be days that you just don't feel like helping people because you're going to be tired. That's why having something that's a personal goal for you and your family, for your future, that has to be something that's really strong, that's going to get you to show up on the days you don't think you have time. Make time on the days you don't have time. And something that's going to get you to show up when you don't feel like it. Because that's the biggest difference between successful coaches and the ones that struggle. Successful coaches and the unsuccessful ones, they do the same things on the days they feel like it, but the successful ones do it on the days they don't feel like it, because they have this burning why that they're working. Either they're working towards something or they're trying to get out of something. For me, I was trying to get out of something. Like, my why, my fuel to stay on this escalator was super powerful, because I was trying to get out of a life of having to listen to other people tell me how to live my life. Right? I finally got to the point where I was like 29 years old, and I'm like, I'm going to be 30, and am I going to live the next 30 years listening to a boss tell me like when I can take vacation and how much I can earn? Like, hell no. I'm not going to spend the next 30 years like that. When I have this opportunity over here that's going to allow me to live the life I want to live, to like have no ceiling on what I can earn and work anywhere I want, when I want, with who I want. Like, you bet your ass I'm not getting off this escalator. So that why has to be something that's like that. That's like super powerful that gets you to show up every single day. And the second thing is your belief. Because you could have the most powerful why in the world, but if you don't believe that the things you're doing each day are going to get you to that why, then you're not going to show up every day. So the way I help my coaches start to build their belief is, one, personal development obviously is huge. Like, you got to start talking to yourself differently. Like, I don't know if you guys know this, but our brains aren't really designed to like keep us happy. Our brains are really designed to keep us alive and safe. Like, that's our brain's number one job, keep you safe. And so the way it does that is by creating perceived dangers to keep you safe in a comfort zone. Right? So that's something we got to do, is start to go in and I look at my mind and my brain as like a garden that I need to plant seeds each day, and I need to go in and pull the weeds every day. Because your brain is like a garden where the weeds grow automatically. That's part of the deal, right? You guys know that in a garden, like in your brain, the weeds grow automatically. That's kind of part of it, right? So you got to go in and pull the weeds every day, and you got to plant the seeds every day. That's how you start to change the way you talk to yourself, the way you think, the way other people see you, right? So personal development's huge for the belief. That's, I think, the foundation of the whole business is the personal development. The fitness and nutrition are secondary to the personal development, in my opinion. It all starts with personal development. The other way I start to help them cultivate their belief is, and this is something that you guys, like, if you want to become a leader, like, you're going to have to teach people how to believe bigger in themselves. And the way you teach people to believe bigger in themselves is getting them to read good books, getting them to surround themselves with other people that believe in them, believing in them so much that they start to believe in themselves as much as you believe in them. And then once that happens, believe in them even more. Like, that's kind of our job as coaches, is to believe in people while they don't, and believe in them long enough until they eventually do. Right? So the other thing I do to help people with their belief is I show them exactly kind of how it works. Like, I show them, I make it really simple for them. It's like, big picture, find your 2 or 3 good leaders, your 2 or 3, coaches that are going to become those leaders and build their own teams, right? So where are those people going to be coming from? They're going to be people that really love the products. So you're either going to find people that are already using the products, or you're going to introduce them to the products and then they fall in love with it. And so now all of my coaches are people that are falling in love with the products first. If they come to me about the business opportunity, then I'll say, like, great, let's do this. But the best way I can set you up for success is to give you a great experience as a customer first. Because you need to fall in love with this lifestyle. You need to fall in love with personal development, number one. Right? Like, my challenge groups, there's personal development every day in there. And it's simple. It's the Darren Hardy, those Darren dailies. Every day I post that, because he comes out with one every day. And I just post it in there and I say, what was your top takeaway? And I keep track of everyone that comments, and I do a recognition board. So they're starting to have personal development. So these 2 or 3 leaders that you need, right? Like, they're going to be people that fall in love with personal development. They're going to be people that really fall in love with the workouts, the nutrition, Shakeology, and being a part of this community, being surrounded by other positive people, right? So I know that those are the people I'm looking for. So I'm introducing people to those things all the time to see who falls in love with those things. So I'm constantly just every day doing my vital behaviors, introducing people, inviting people to take a look at those things and see if it makes a difference in their life, see if they fall in love with it. And if they do, then they're going to be a better chance of them being one of those 1 or 2 great leaders. So you got your 1 or 2 great leaders you need on your team. They're going to be people that are probably coming out of your challenge groups because they need to fall in love with that stuff. And the things you're doing every day. How do you get people into your challenge groups? The little vital behaviors every day. Staying on the escalator every day. like proving to people that you're serious about this lifestyle and that these products are legit. And the people that you're going to get in your challenge groups next year are people that are watching you right now. They're watching you right now to see how consistent you stay over the next 3-6 months before they join you next year. Make sense? So here's like the mindset I have about inviting, because I think this is the one that trips coaches up. It tripped me up when I first started. People, for some reason, complicate this inviting thing, like inviting to the challenge group or inviting to the coaching opportunity. I look at it as like I'm inviting people to a party at my house on Friday night. Like, let's say tomorrow's Friday, right? Like, let's say I'm throwing a party tomorrow at my place. Like, I'm just going to be like, yo, I'm having people over tomorrow. Like, love it if you can make it. Like, that's it. Like, I'm not going to make it more complicated than that. I'm definitely not going to get upset if they don't come. What I would get upset at myself at is if I threw a party and everybody came, but then I forgot about that one person that I didn't invite, and they like saw it on social media and they're like, that's weird. Like, he didn't invite me. Like, I thought we were friends. Right? So to me, it's like, I'm just throwing this party, and I want to make sure everyone knows they're invited, and there's no pressure like to come. It's no big deal. Like, and if they decide they can't make it, then I'll throw a party next month and they can come next month if they can make it. But if not, like, I'm not going to get mad at them. You know, I'm not going to get mad at myself. I'm not going to be like, oh shoot. Like, that person didn't come to my party. You know, I'll just have another one. So that's I look at inviting like just that. It's inviting to a party. And if they come, cool. And if they don't, cool. But if they see me throwing parties long enough, and eventually then maybe they might show up to one. And I think that people appreciate that. They're like, yo, this person's not desperate for me to like come to their party. They're just throwing a party, and they, you know, this is the lifestyle they live. And, you know, I appreciate them giving me the invite. I can't make it this month. I got other things going on, but I like how cool they were about that. Like, maybe they'll come, you know, maybe I'll come to their party next month. That's kind of how I look at inviting. But that's the mindset piece, like the escalator. There's only two things I ever teach my coaches. One is mindset and one is the skills. The mindset is 80% of it. The skills are, you know, skills. I think my 9-year-old nephew could do the things I do each day. But the mindset to stay consistent with those things is where I think coaches get a little off, which is where I kind of fell off in the beginning. But do you guys have any questions about any of that stuff? I won't get into the skills right now. I see a bunch of stuff in here. Comments.
Ignore that. We just talk a lot during our team calls.
Oh, nice.
We're still listening, I promise. We're just always
knowing someone on this call is it weird? I just got chills knowing someone on the call is writing it down. I literally did an entire thing call on your escalator talk. Team no dead fish. Speaking of souls, goals, commitment. What will you guys commit to show you're on the escalator?
Yeah, I want them to post that in the chat so you can write it out loud.
Okay,
just
cool.
ignore the notifications while you're talking.
5 a.m. club. Gonna see if I can do it. Do you ever take a day off? Do you ever take a day off or you're on the escalator every single day? I mean, if I'm hungover, I might take a day off. But no, I mean, like, I just know the days that I like do these things, like the days that reading personal development, the days that I'm getting my workout in, the days I'm eating right, like my brain works better. Like, my brain's not in survival mode. Like, you know, it's more of like this, like, feeling of like abundance mode. It's more of like a happy mode. And so to me, everything in life's it's like just connections, like with other people. And if I'm doing these things every day, like I'm able to show up more for the people in my life and have stronger connection with them that day. So I try not to take a day off. And if I do take a day off, I notice it. Like, I notice all there. Like I'm not fully in it, you know, like, so then my connections with my people I love, like is a little bit off. So that's, you know, I don't want to waste days like that. I don't want to throw days away because I'm not doing those things. So I try not to take days off the escalator as, you know, as few as possible. Same with like, just, you know, checking in with people, like, and seeing how they're doing each day. Like I always take care of myself first. That's something I learned, is that like that whole thing they say on the plane, you got to put your oxygen mask on first before you help other people. Like that's so true in life. You got to do your things to get your oxygen before you can go and help other people get theirs. So I'm always getting my oxygen every day. That's part of the escalator mindset for me. And then going to help other people kind of get their oxygen, just checking in, seeing how they're doing, checking into my challenge groups. I kind of love doing that every day, seeing what people's top takeaways were from the Darren Daily videos every day, you know, replying to their comments. Like I love doing that. So I try not to take days off, but even on vacation, I try to like get in my personal development and my workouts and that kind of thing. Do you guys know Jim Rohn? There's like someone tried to say something.
I had a question really quick. I'm sorry.
Oh yeah.
I was just going to ask what your recommendations were for your favorite personal development, what you tell like newer coaches to do for personal development.
Yeah. So the first personal development book I read that really helped me, I don't know if it's probably still my favorite book. It's the first book I ever actually finished. I don't know how I got through school, but it's called The Slight Edge. That book changed my idea of what it took to be successful. Like I used to think that to be successful, you had to be like a superhero. You had to like be born with all these like crazy gifts and skills and all this stuff. But that book taught me that to be successful, it's not about all those weird superpower things that you put people on pedestals for. The success just comes from doing the little tiny mundane, unsexy things that don't seem like they're anything. But if you do them every day, they compound over time. And then all of a sudden you can see the results, and it's crazy. But the hard part is that you can't see the results while that little slight edge is working. But the slight edge is always working for you or against you. That's the problem. So if you're not doing anything, you know, you're taking days off, you don't notice a difference the next day or 2 days later because you can't see it. But that slight edge invisibly is working against you. Same if you do the thing, it's invisibly working for you. And so I just realized like that's what success is. It's just realizing that the beginning, a lot of the things you do in this business, you don't see the results from those things for 3 months a lot of times. Like the invites you do this month are what going to set you up for success in April a lot of times. So the slight edge is huge. The other thing that at the same time I bought that book, The Slight Edge, I also bought a CD called How to Build Your Network Marketing Business. And you can get it on YouTube now. It's called, How to Build Your Network Marketing Business by Jim Rohn. That CD, I wore that thing out because I listened to it literally over 100 times. Literally over 100 times. I just had it in my car and I just listened to it over and over and over. And then I had to buy another CD, the same exact CD and then I wore that one out because I listened to it literally over 100 times. That book and then that CD, How to Build Your Network Marketing Business, just changed my thinking of what it took to be successful. And all of a sudden, like my belief went through the roof because I realized that I had everything I needed to be successful. It wasn't all these other things I thought it was. It was just the little things every day. One of the things he talked about in that CD is learning to discipline your disappointment. This was a really hard one for me. This is the biggest reason I didn't have success my first 4 years. Then I did the following years after that, was because I was terrible at disciplining my disappointment. To me, what that means is when you're disappointed, you stay disciplined. When I would first start as this coaching thing, I would be inviting, I'd be following up, I'd be talking to people. And then when people wouldn't say yes as fast as I wanted, then I would get disappointed. And then it's okay to get disappointed if someone says no, but you have to stay disciplined still. But I didn't. Like, I would get disappointed, which is okay, but then I wouldn't stay disciplined. I would stop, and I'd go back down the escalator. Eventually, I learned that you have to learn to discipline your disappointment. You got to learn that no's are a good thing. It just means you've planted a seed. Now they're going to watch you closer. So yes, no's, you want no's, because now they're going to watch you closer, and eventually now they're going to end up joining your party sooner now. So I just learned that, okay, yeah, no's are good. That's part of it. And yeah, it's okay to be disappointed if they're not ready yet, but you got to stay disciplined. You got to keep doing your thing, because now they're going to watch you closer. So those two things were huge, that CD and that book. Slight edge. I make use of my time commuting. What was the book? Sorry, squirrel. There's five skills I teach, right? So I teach the mindset, and then I teach 5 skills. Escalator mindset, 5 skills. Once my coaches have this down, like, they kill it. Like, game's over, right? So the escalator mindset, and then the 5 skills are sharing on social media, finding and connecting with new people, and reconnecting with old friends, inviting, giving your people an amazing experience in your challenge groups as a client, as a customer, and then introducing them to coaching. If one of those 5 is off, it throws the whole thing off. So what I do with my coaches is I just kind of ask them where they're at with each of those 5 on a scale of 1 to 10. And then then I know, like, why their business isn't growing as fast as I want. Either there's something wrong with their mindset, or their skills are off, or maybe it's both. But now the worst thing is not knowing why your business isn't working. What you got to get really good at for yourself and for your coaches is identifying why it's not working. That's the first step. Then now you know where to work, where to improve. So the escalator mindset, and then the 5 skills, knowing where you're off in those 5 skills. The sharing on social media, this is a really tough one for coaches, right? Like, because like our brain, like I said, like, our brains is not designed to keep us happy and help. And our brain's not wired to grow our business. Our brain's wired to keep us safe. So when we're thinking about what to share, our brain naturally thinks about not the thousands of people that would benefit from what you're sharing, thinks about the one person that it thinks won't like it, right? How many of you guys have like 1, maybe 2 people in your life that you're afraid of what they'll think of your posts? So you kind of are hesitant to share certain things. Anybody feel like that, right? There's like usually it's like 1 or 2 people that we allow to dictate what we share. And so we allow those 1 or 2 people to dictate our success in this business. We let those 1 or 2 people dictate the impact we have. We let those 1 or 2 people dictate how many people we're going to connect with and help. How about letting the other thousands and thousands of other people on social media dictate what you share? Like, if something works for you, like if being a part of this community works for you, if a book works for you, if these workouts work for you, if Shakeology works for you, like the containers work for you, if something works for you, like, who gives a shit if someone else it doesn't work for them? Like, there's so many other people that it will work for. So share it. And if somebody doesn't like what you're sharing, same with a business opportunity. Like, this is an unbelievable opportunity that we need to be just at least inviting people to the party so they can make their own decision if they want to come. If there's like a few people that don't care for what you're posting, they can do you a favor and unfriend you, because they're not your people, and they're not, what you're sharing isn't for them. So that's fine, right? I look at my social media like it's kind of like my business. It's like, I'm going to share it because this is going to help my business, and it's going to help other people at the same time. Like, that's the cool thing about this, is like, to be successful with this business, you got to help other people. So what you're sharing is going to help your business and help others. And I don't really give a shit if like 1 or 2 people don't like what I'm sharing. Like, this has helped me too much to care if it's like what other people think of it. It's helped my family too much to care what other people think of it. And now all these new friends I have that I'm really close with, that it's helped them. Like, there's just like nothing anybody could say to me that is going to like make me not want to share this with other people. But if they say something, I'll just be like, that's cool. Like, yo, like, I appreciate your opinion. Like, I appreciate you sharing and being honest that this didn't work for you or whatever, but that's cool. Doesn't affect me, but so yeah. So just that sharing. I think the other thing that we need to do a better job at with, as far as the skill number one, the sharing on social media, is a lot of coaches, we only share, there's 4 steps to sharing a story, to sharing on social media, right? Like if you need to know how to share your story, which is so important, there's 4 steps to sharing your story. So the first is sharing your background, where you're from, what you do for work, right? The second step is what you don't really like about that current situation. The third, that just popped up. The third is the solution you found for that thing you didn't like about your current situation. The fourth is how you feel about your future now because of the solution you found. So what most coaches do, and I was guilty of this when I first started, is we live in number 3 and 4. Like all we talk about is 3 and 4. The solution we found and how we feel about the future now, how excited we are, right? Like those are great. Those are cool things. But that's 99% of what we post about, 3 and 4. The solution and why we're excited about it. And then most people can't relate to that because they're still stuck in number 2, in the stuff that they feel really stuck in. So if you want people to listen to number 3 and 4, you have to meet them where they're currently at, which is number 2. So if you want to connect with people and meet them where they're at, you got to share what you are currently struggling with or what you used to struggle with, because then they're going to say to themselves, oh, like I can relate to that because that's where I'm at right now. Like, I don't like that about my current situation either. I don't like that about my mind. I don't like that about my emotions. I don't like that about my job. I don't like that about my life. I don't like I can relate to what that person's saying. Now I'm willing to listen to the solution they found that's helping them with that. So number 1, your background, like they might relate to something in there that they have something in common. You guys are from the same area or have the same things going on in your life or same job or something that they relate to. But then the second thing is where they're really, really going to connect. Like that's where you #meet them in the shit. Like that's where you really start to connect with people. And then they're willing to listen to your solution. That's that 4th step for sharing your journey has been really, really helpful. So that's the first skill, is just getting better at kind of sharing on social media, sharing your story. That's how you're going to relate to people, connect with people, gain trust. And then over time, consistency is a huge part of that too. But that's that. What else we got here? Do you guys have any more questions about any of this? One little tip that really helped me was when one of my coaches eventually got a coach of their own, like I would treat them like a personally sponsored coach. So like when one of my new coaches got a new coach, I used to just be like, good luck, good luck with your new coach. And that never really worked out so well because my coach was still trying to figure it out too. But when my coach would get a new coach, I started to kind of take my coach's coach under my wing, and I'd be on a group message with my coach and my coach's coach and, ask them how things were going, maybe even get on a Zoom call with the 3 of us. And now what happened was the newest coach, they got to hear from not just my coach, but from me too. And my coach got to listen to me train their coach. So they got better and eventually got to the point where they didn't need me anymore and they could train their coaches. That's what really helped my business stop being a revolving door that people would come in and quit. It started to kind of plant roots where people would come in and whoa, like they got it. And then they never really went anywhere. And all of a sudden now we had traction and started growing. That's all I got.
Pat, seriously, you are like speaking to souls right now. This was exactly what I feel like so many people on this call needed. So I can't thank you enough. And I wanted to give people a chance to pick your brain, but also remind people, stay on the call. We're going to take, or let's just do it now. Let's just do a quick picture now. And I have 2 screens full, so I'm going to have to take 2 separate ones. So why don't you go ahead and show your face if you want to be on this picture. I've got a lot of black spots still. And start thinking about your questions for Pat, because I want him to be on this picture, but I also want you to feel like you can ask him anything. So I'm going to make sure that it's in story mode. So, all right, page 1, say cheese. Okay, page 2. Save. Okay. All right, 1, 2, yay. Okay, so now, thank you for that. So now I want to say, does anybody have any questions for Pat in leadership, in training, in anything volume related? Because pick his brain while you have him. He's just ask him.
I have a question about volume. How do you stack your legs? I know I've heard like so many different ideas of like how best to make volume, whether you want like a stronger leg or whether you want a more even. How do you train your coaches, and how do you personally do it when you're stacking your legs for the best volume?
I want 2 strong legs. Like I want, like, honestly, like if I could get, if both my legs were the same, like I'd be cool with that.
Okay.
But
What
then as far as like where to put the second business center, like, so this is what I would do if you're a brand new coach. Like if you know you kind of are going to have a weak leg where, like, let's say, you know, your coach signs you up and then now they're going to kind of help you build one leg. I didn't have that, unfortunately. Like I kind of built 2 legs myself, which is actually a blessing in disguise because it forced me to take ownership of my business in a way. But if you do have someone that's kind of helping you build one leg, you'd put a family member like in your weak leg at the top of your weak leg. So now you're kind of building, you know, your 2 legs, you know. Your second business center, like when you get to 2-star and you open a second business center, when you would put that second business center in your weak leg. I think that's what you're asking by how would you stack. So I always put put your next business center in your weakest leg, because then as you build that second business center, you're building your weak leg at the same time. And then when you get that to 2-star, put your third business center in the weak leg of your second business center. But there's a little depends. Sometimes the scenarios change a little bit, but basically put your second business center in your weak leg, put your third business center in the weak leg of your second, put your fourth business center in the weak leg of your third.
Okay. Yeah, mine flip-flopped now. So my weak leg, which is where my husband is currently, then, you know, it's totally flip-flopped now. So I don't know now. I'm confused as to, I mean, obviously I'm going to talk to April more about what to do, but now my husband is considered my strong leg. But
cool. So yeah, I think you'd have to see like how close they are, like how close your left and your right leg as far as like the average team volume you get each week.
What I can do, Heather, I'm going to hop on a call with Pat. So if you want to send me a screenshot of like your volume from the last couple of weeks, I can just run that by him real quick, but I'll look at it too. But
yeah, the easiest thing is just to if I like knew exactly what your volume is each week on each leg of your first and the volume on each leg of your husband, then that would be the easiest way to help you figure out where to put your second business center. But that stuff really does, like, it's insane how quick your income grows once you get your second business center. So getting to 2-star diamond, you know, that's like, to me, is like the real first rank. You know, that's like, you know, that's the real one.
I have a question.
Yeah.
So you said your legs were even in the beginning, correct? You built both of them, because that's how mine are. So did you not build for rank then? Because I've heard if you have even legs that you should build for rank, not for volume. Does that make sense or no?
I think you should, you're always, I always focus on making sure I'm building for volume, and then the rank just kind of comes along with it.
So do you teach your coaches to build for rank at all? Like, do you give them, you know, emerald, diamond, 2-star?
Yeah, like I'm definitely like, you want to get to emerald, so you're eligible for team bonuses and customer leads. You want to get to diamond so that your team cycle goes from 14 to 18. You want to get to 2-star so you can get your second business center open. You want to get to 5-star so you can hit elite and get get the VIP coach relations phone number, which is worth more than elite, I think. So yeah, like you definitely want to shoot for those things. But if you have one leg that's like way stronger than the other, and you have this coach signing up that you're like, I think this person's going to be a rock star. Like, I would put that person in your weak leg, no matter like what your rank is. Like, I would always be like, I want to load my weak leg because I want to catch that up. But if you have 2 even legs, then it doesn't really matter like where you put them. You know, like I would just kind of go back and forth. Like if I had even legs, I would just go back and forth. Or what I do sometimes is I'll look at the coach that's signing up, and I'll think, like, I'll look at the coaches in my left leg and I'll look at the coaches in my right leg, and I'll be like, who do I think this coach would like really connect with in my downline? And then I'm like, ooh, I think they would really get along with this person. So let me put them under that coach, like at the bottom of that coach's left power leg, you know? So you probably, if you look at your business, you have a left leg and your right leg that are even, right? Mm-hmm. Then you have someone that signs up, let's say tomorrow, like look at those coaches that are really working your business in both legs and think like, who's going to really take this coach under their wing? In your like, if I'm sure you have a few people in your left and right leg that you look at as like someone that really is in it, that's excited, that if a coach got signed up and you place them under that person would be like pumped up. That's what I train my coaches to do. Like when I sign a new coach and put it at the bottom of the leg, like my coaches are trained to look at their coach online office and be like, yo, new coach just got added below me. And they message me and they go, hey, I just saw you added a coach below me. You know, is it a business builder? Should I reach out to him? And I'm like, yeah, here you go, doggy. Good treat. Good. But like, no, but they get that, you know, like they know that this is a team sport. They know that when a coach gets put underneath, like I have a group message for my left, all the coaches in my left leg are on a group message. So anytime a coach goes to the bottom, they all know. I send them all a message and I say, hey, new coach just got added to team lefties. Make sure you connect with them. And then they all reach out to that person because they all know that person's on team lefties. They all know that that person's helping their left leg. And I have a group message for all the coaches on my right leg, team righties. And when I put a coach at the bottom of that leg, I send a group message to the group message. Hey, new coach just joined on the right, team righty. And they all message the new coach and they welcome them. And now that new coach feels like, oh, wow, like, all right, let's do this. Let's build each other's strong leg together. And it creates like a good team bonding thing. So yeah, you want to think about that a little. If you have even legs, that's fun. Like I think that's the ideal situation is to have kind of 2 even legs, you know, because then, you know, you can play with it a little where you want to put the next coach because it doesn't really, they're even. So you can put the coach wherever you think that coach is going to benefit the most. But if you have one leg that's weaker, then I tend to load up that weak leg.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, eventually you're not going to have even legs. Like eventually someone in one of those legs is going to become a rock star, you know? And then all of a sudden that one leg is going to start growing way faster than the other, which is a good problem too. Like that's not a problem. Like it's a good thing. Now then you start loading up the other leg to catch up, which is great. I'm in that situation right now. got like, there's these two coaches there's a ton of coaches on the strong leg, but there's some now that are like a whole other level that I've never seen before that are like
Ashley and Kate.
Yeah, Ashley and Kate. Like, I'm like, whoa, like I need to start stepping my game up and start getting more coaches and loading up my weak leg to catch up with these dynamos, you know? So it's kind of that one leg gets more than twice as strong. You get this carryover. Like, that, to me, the carryover is, I hate carryover, but it's the most motivating thing for me too, because it's like basically money sitting in a carryover account that I can't touch, and it's just sitting there laughing at me. And the bigger the carryover account gets, the more it laughs at me, and the more motivated I get to work my business and find people for the other leg, so I don't have to look at that carryover.
Love that. Okay. The other thing too is, guys, he has 2 top 20 coaches in his downline, and they're not personally sponsored. So that's another reason. It's just like, you never know who's going to be, just continue to showing up. So Cassie has a question, and then Angie, if you have any advice for a dead inside leg after. So Cassie's.
Dude, she's another one. Like Cassie Schmelzinger, she's on this call. She's in my downline too. She's like one of Ashley's coaches. Like, so they actually, like Cassie, you know, and a bunch of Ashley's coaches and all them, like they're creating a lot of carryover for me. So I'm like, it pisses me off that I got all this carryover, but at the same time, it motivates me to work harder. So it's a good thing.
All right. I don't know how much time we have, but I have a bunch of new coaches on here who haven't signed up their Control Business Center. I was wondering if maybe you could just go into that really quick and explain the importance of a Control Business Center.
Yeah. So a Control Business Center is like the first coach you sign up, and you put it like on your weak leg. And then that having like a controlled business center is great for a few reasons. Like if you sign up a family member, they call it a control business center because you get to kind of control it. Like you get to determine like if you're going to keep it active, which helps you stay emerald. Like the first thing I did when I became a coach was I signed my mom up that day. I was like, hey mom, I got this new thing I'm doing. It's going to keep you healthy and it's going to help me with my business, and I'm your son, so you'll do it, right? She was like, yeah, all right. So that was my control business center, right? Like she signed up, and then I said the same thing to my sister, signed her up on the other leg. Boom, got to emerald the day I signed up as a coach. Had 2 business centers that I was kind of controlling. That's the first reason you want to have a controlled business center, so you can get to emerald sooner, right away. Because when you get to emerald, you're eligible for team bonuses, you're eligible for customer leads, you're eligible for a lot of things, really cool things. So emerald's like the shit. The other reason you want to have a controlled business center is because now anytime you sign another coach and you place it underneath that controlled business center, you earn double. It helps if you get a new coach and you put it underneath your controlled business center, anytime that coach buys or sells something and, you know, starts to build their own team, like you earn part of your team bonus from that, and your controlled business center gets a team bonus from that too. So it's huge for that reason. Like you earn double. Like, does anyone not want to earn double? So like you definitely need a controlled business center if you want to earn double. Yeah.
Double. Okay. Any advice if somebody's on a dead inside leg, like their coach quit and they're just hanging out in no man's land? Same thing. You don't have it just back and forth.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yep. If you're on a dead inside leg, like kind of like what happened to me, then put a chip on your shoulder and just do the damn thing. Like just get fired up about it and be like, I'm going to do this. Like take ownership of it. Like that's, I think it's a blessing in disguise a lot of times because you're not sitting back and waiting for people to feed you stuff. Like you're hungry and you're going to do it like on your own. And when you take ownership of this, instead of like trying to wait for your coach to be your leader, then the people you bring in, they don't look to your coach as the leader. They look at you as the leader. And because they're closer to you and see you more, then they treat this as more of a real thing and they become a leader sooner. So yeah, I would just go back and forth.
Okay, cool. Thank you so much. So we are wrapping it up. If anybody else has anything, just shoot me a message and I can get it to them if you think of anything. But Pat, we are so, so excited. You are amazing. Any last words?
I'll see you guys on the escalator.
I love it. Thank you so much. And anybody, stay put. Our team, Beautifully Made. I'm going to take a picture for Rachel's official 1-star diamond. I want to make a fun celebratory post. So
Awesome.
yeah. Thank you, Pat.
Cool. All right. See you guys.
See you. Okay. All right. So show your faces again so that we can celebrate Rachel. I'm so excited. Okay. Rachel, do you want to do it? How about you do it?
I can.
Okay.
Heather, you need a cocktail?
Mm-hmm. It's Shakeology.
It's celebratory.
I really wanted to open mine, but this is like way harder than I thought to drink a whole gallon of water.
Rachel, you are drinking a glass of champagne tonight.
Maybe. I need to finish my water. I made a promise to myself. I'll finish my water and then I'll be up tonight doing it. Okay. Ready? Where's everyone's face? Liz.
Are you doing a boomerang or what do you?
I'm gonna do a boomerang. Liz is on.
Okay. Celebrate.
Your face. Okay, we weren't ready yet. That was priceless. All right.
I'm so excited.
We're so excited for you.
Ready?
Not sure.
Okay, boomerang, guys. Ready, go.
She's like laying down and she was like,
are we done yet? Oh boy.
Oh my gosh, April, that was so great.
So
Okay.
anyways, let me just, if you guys care, let me just really quickly go over those from November because I wanted to celebrate anybody that was still on here because I had this stupid thing ready for the once. Okay, so Success Club, I ended with 20. Adriana had 14. Michael had 8. Melissa had 8. Heather had 6. Jess Perkins had 6. She just got her success starters officially. So yay! We'll be celebrating her this week. Good job, Jess. So her and Shayla both got theirs, so they'll be getting their summit ticket for free. Yeah. Holly Perry hit 6 with her first time ever hitting Success Club. That was super
nice.
Yep, she's Melissa's coach. She's lost over 90 pounds and just decided to share her story. And Melissa helped her with conversations and locked them all in. Rachel and Coach Mike had 6 each, so 12 to Rachel. And Jordan, who's Adriana's new coach, Rachel's grandbaby coach, had 6. So on the board, we have Danielle Rhodes with 4, Stephanie Coons with 4, Nicole Williams with 4. That was her first month hitting almost Success Club, so that was super exciting. Coach Matt McDonald with 2, Leah with 2, Jennifer Martin with 2, Jamie with 2, Coach Paul with 2, Amy Ryder with 2, Erin Malley with 2, Samantha Hester with 2, and Shayla with 2. So, and then top coaches of the week is Melissa. So with that volume, it's mostly like volume and Success Club. That's how I pull these. And so Melissa had some awesome volume this week and had also recruited 2 coaches. And then Heather, Rachel, Danielle, and Marcy all were the other coaches. So congrats to you all. And if you guys didn't see it, please go to my post and show some love to Rachel because this is a really, really big accomplishment. So I want what you're loving.
So amazing.
Awesome. Thank you.
You're welcome. Yes.
Most deserved rank advancement ever.
Yes. So, all right. I can't find where to stop here. So thank you guys so much for hopping on. I can't wait to see you next week. Just make sure you mark your calendars. The December 17th, Carl is on our call. Last time we were invited to join it. This time he's actually with me and Megan Ewaldson. So our team and Megan Ewaldson, it's Monday, December 17th at 7 p.m. Eastern time. So our CEO of our company will be here not in the flesh. I almost said that. But, and I'm taking the week off Christmas, no team calls, and I'm locking in the guest speaker for next week. So it'll be posted. So have a great night, everyone. It was so good to see you. I posted the screenshots in Beautifully Made Family. Rachel will share hers. Please, please, please use social media. Talk to the Team Happy Hour, how much fun we just had, and post it there. And I will see you guys soon. All right. Bye.